Hello folks, welcome to the Land Tamer channel. It's good to have you tonight. We're going to talk about some more Cisco Live first impressions after having attended the event. And this is part 8, which has to do with logistics. So we're going to talk a little bit about logistics, which is important if this is your first Cisco Live, or if you are watching this to prepare you for your first Cisco Live. And it just has some general impressions that I had. So I had to retype this guy, folks, because my internet is down. I'm recording this on for YouTube. I don't know when you'll see it, but now it's hard down. Like I use Spectrum. This has not only been difficult to stream for the last 8 or 9 days, but today it went down hard, and it's showing down on down detector. So anyway, you're not seeing the typical format that's not being streamed live through YouTube. But let's talk a little bit about, so this is the customer appreciation event, sort of the opening. This is part of Universal Studios, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But as you can see, there were a lot of people there, and it was actually pretty awesome. I really enjoyed myself. But facility/operations. So if you did not know, the event this year, 2018, was held in the Orange County Convention Center, which is huge. Is quite adequate, I think, for this event. I know that next year, I believe it's going to be in San Diego, and then it'll be in Las Vegas, and Las Vegas again, and then back in Orlando. They've already released sort of the future locations. So San Diego will be next year. This year, it went great, I thought. There were a couple times where parking was difficult. Parking was hard for me. Parking is tough in Orlando, period. Parking can be a nightmare here. So I live here in the Orlando area, so I had to ride on a motorcycle. And there was particularly one morning where the traffic was just really bad. Monday morning, the first, full day and general admission, I guess, the parking was really backed up. It took me like an hour to get parked. And of course, on a motorcycle, it was hot. So I will say that was a timing issue on my part. I didn't get up early enough probably to do that. So just beware. Of course, any big event like this in Orlando, I'm sure any major city, a lot of people were walking because they were nearby hotels or they were taking a bus. That's the route to go. In my case, I had to drive and had to park. And if I had the option, there was actually an option potentially to park in someone else's use someone else's space. That didn't work out. But yeah, they're big crowds. That's to be expected. They're noisy. There's a lot of people out. But, everyone is really civil. In this type of crowd, you would expect that. And everyone was very civil. And overall, the event went really well in terms of just the logistics. Meals are included, of course. Now, I'm not sure if that's true of the Imagine Pass or not. Maybe it is. I really don't know. I need to look into that because we're going to be talking about that in the final part of the series. Meals were provided. I did sign up for, I eat keto. They did have, and so I signed up for special meals, which people said actually that's a good thing because the meals, there have been complaints in the past, the meals are not all that good. I found the meals to be fine. And in fact, when I went into the special meals section and told them I was looking for gluten-free, basically, they said, oh, yeah, we include that really everywhere. You don't need anything here. So I just went to the regular meal stations, got my meals, and it was fine. Meals were great, too, because often we would meet up and, or you'd sit somewhere new and meet and greet with people, strike up a conversation. It was a very pleasant experience. So I don't think you have to worry too much about that. Swag. Yeah, swag was good. I'm not a big swag person. I've been going to these things for years. You do get entered in for drawings and things like that. I did win one year an iPod years ago, and it was a Cisco local event. It wasn't even a very large event. I've never won anything really big like one of these conventions people have. They do have some pretty cool giveaways on all these events, but it wasn't a big deal to me. It wasn't a focus to me. I know some people who are on swag hunts big time. Like that was, and hey, if that makes it interesting for you and, if that makes it exciting for you because you've been to these year after year, great. More power to you. But there was definitely swag. When you arrived and checked in, they actually gave you a book bag, or a backpack, I should say. Some people call it a book bag, which is great. It's practical. I didn't need one. I was on a motorcycle. I had a backpack that's suited for my needs, so I actually had to roll mine up somehow and stuff it in my other backpack within backpack. But I'm going to be giving that away at the end in the last part of the series. And I got some good swag. Some of that was really good in the breakout sessions. The presenters had swag. I think that stuff was coming out of their own pockets, to be honest. But to make it interesting and keep everyone's attention, they were giving it away. To get swag, you have to be somewhat clever and answer a question, or kind of discern when they pose a question to the audience, or if you ask a really good, insightful question. That's how sometimes you win swag from the presenter. So I try to be I try to participate. I'm always that kind of person anyway. I sit at the front. I sat in front of the class. Nerd, so it wasn't that big a deal for me. But yeah, there's some good swag, in particular at the World of Solutions, the big, vendor area, and of course Cisco area. So maps, they had really good maps in this particular area. The decorations were pretty cool. Against my first Cisco Live, it was impressive. They did put a lot of money into making the place nice, and of course advertising Cisco. But it was very clever, some of the ways they set it up. Balloons, Imagine was all over the place. It really made for some good selfies on social media. But yeah, they had maps. You could go, had interactive maps in a lot of different places. They had DJs playing music in different parts of the venue. The staff were very helpful. There were Cisco staff, and then of course there were just facility staff, and on both counts went really well. Now here's one thing I want to talk about that I thought was very practical. I don't know that everyone's taking advantage of this, but there were two apps that in particular that were used. Well, three, I should say. One was Discord, which was used by our group, in the Land Tamer server. There were a number of us there, and we would coordinate ourselves through Discord, which was cool. But then in Cisco Events, that was sort of an official Cisco Live app, because obviously Cisco Live is included in there. It had several really cool features that were part of the events. It had your itinerary. You could get sort of walking directions. That wasn't very specific, but one real feature was, I think, find your friends. And you could actually go on there if you signed up for it, and you could create, someone in our group, Land Tamers server group, went in and created a friends list. So I was able to pull up the list, and immediately I could see where everybody was in our group. And we met up a number of times, not just in the breakout sessions. We met up at lunch. We met up in World of Solutions, the social media area, and you could see where people were. It wasn't super real time, okay, but it was accurate enough, I think, especially around meal times, that we could find each other. And a couple times I used it to find people. That was a really cool app. I really liked that. Then, of course, WebEx Teams, formerly Cisco Spark, was used. It was referred to in all the breakout sessions. You could actually post questions there. I don't know that, well, I maybe saw in one or two sessions where you had not just a presenter, but you had another moderator in the room, maybe someone helping the presenter, or you had multiple presenters. Then they were actually fielding questions from WebEx Teams. But in general, they were just fielding questions from the audience like you normally would. So I really didn't use WebEx Teams that much. You could actually sync with your device. Let's say you had a Surface Pro or something. You could use WebEx Teams, and you could watch on your screen the presentations as they were playing the presentations on the big screen. So I didn't really use that either. Again, I was trying to pack light. I only took my mobile phone, my iPhone, and I didn't really use WebEx Teams that much for that, except for filling out surveys. I think that's where you filled out your surveys, which is really important to the presenters, folks. So I made a point to fill out surveys for all the sessions that I attended. So presenters really appreciate that. Then there was a customer appreciation event. Really cool. This was very similar to something I did at another recent conference I attended, part of a conference anyway. The Citrix Synergy Conference was last year, and they had a similar thing where they reserved one of the Universal theme parks just for the attendees. That was really cool. Last year at Citrix Synergy, it was Universal Studios Islands of Adventure, which I'd never been to. And as a matter of fact, my wife and I got to go. There were people that didn't go, and they gave me their bands, and it was really cool. You could basically just walk up to a ride. And that is the best time ever to experience Disney or Universal theme park, is at an event like this. The only problem is it's a very limited time. So they had some big name artists. I wasn't super interested in many of them, except for maybe Cake and one or two others. They had some great bands there that were playing in different stages. And this Cisco event was at Universal Studios. And it turns out this event was a lot bigger than the Citrix Synergy event. So it was still kind of crowded. You still had to wait in line, but it was nothing like having to wait in line for an open event, a public day at any of the parks. It was still way better. So they just opened Universal Studios, and of course there was some cool stuff to do, some cool rides. I really liked the Jimmy Fallon ride a lot more than I thought. But I don't know what they do. We'll see what they do in San Diego and Vegas. I'm sure it'll be cool. It'd be hard to have something as cool as Universal Studios, I would imagine. But the thing is, it was just very brief. They do reserve the park. I think it was after 6 p.m. By the way, it was tough getting there. I even left like an hour and a half early, or intended to leave an hour and a half early. I went out to try to get an Uber and a Lyft, and there was a line of people doing the same thing and the same idea. I should have left like 5 p.m. I should have left a session early to try to get there, because getting in and out of the park, the Cisco event was huge, thousands of people, and it was just, it was just an issue sort of getting in and out, just to the great, a lot of people going at the same time. So just be aware of that. Everyone had to be patient. There were some big crowds, but there was plenty to eat, plenty of food, plenty to drink. Generally it was wine and beer, not liquor, for the most part. So, but it was a great event. I really enjoyed it, and I hung out with some of the guys in the Land Tamers server, and we just had a blast. But it went by really quick. Before you knew it, it was time to leave. They were closing the park. You had to catch a bus, etc. So. But overall, such a great event, logistically speaking. Cisco knows how to run an event. I know they've been doing it for years, and they did a really good job. Really enjoyed myself. Not only did I learn a lot and do a lot of good networking, I had a good time as well. And I miss it. I already miss it, and it's only been like 2 weeks. So anyway, I just have one meat chunk. Again, I can't post this or anything. This is not live. When I do upload it to YouTube, I will have the link here, but Dmitry Figol, who has done a number of presentations on subjects, particularly with programmability. He has also done some presentations on BGP and some other protocols, EIGRP. He recently updated his blog with a list of all of his presentations. I'm going to go back and watch some of them. They will help me with the CCIE routing and switching. But I just wanted to put that out there. That's our meat chunk, our link of the day. And that's about all I got. I'm going to work on, I finished for my written exam prep. I have 27 days to go as of now. Again, I don't know when this will be uploaded, when my internet comes back. But tonight I will be reviewing some more IPv6, and I may be moving into another subject area. I've been on IPv6 for about 3 days. Today I watched for the second time the Hitchhiker's Guide to IPv6 from the Cisco Live On Demand library. I tweeted about it today. Excellent presentation. So I'm going through that a second time, and we'll see where we go from there, and I'll definitely keep you all up to date. Thanks so much for being here and checking out the channel. Please like this video if you enjoy it, and subscribe if you want to see more. Thanks so much for stopping by the Land Tamer channel. We shall see you back here again soon, hopefully, live. But if not, generally every day we'll be posting here on the Land Tamer channel. Thanks. Wishing you good bits. Keep studying, keep labbing, and we'll see you soon.